Hello and welcome to another month of Azure Databricks with Advancing Analytics. So today we're going to look at the SQL API. So how do you use Databricks but actually just write SQL, make it familiar to all of your business users? Before we get into it, we're going to talk a bit about context. So if we're using Python, we're writing some code and we create a data frame, that data frame is currently only visible in the Python context. So it's a little bit locked in. So if we wanted to start using Scala or SQL, we're going to have a bad time. So because we're looking at SQL, we want to be able to write SQL on these data frames that we've created in Python, we need to create something called a temp view. So there's a command for that we're going to see, so that's called create or replace temp view, and as soon as we've done that, that then creates an object that is visible across all of the other languages. Now again, it's not moving any data, it is just a pointer that makes it accessible to the other contexts. Okay, so we're back in the notebook, and this is the notebook we used yesterday for our joins. So we've got really simple people, countries, and we're just going to create some sample data for that, so we've got something to query. Then we've got these temp view statements. So for people data frame and country data frame, we've got two separate statements that's going to create these objects, one called people, one called country. Really simple. It's not moving any data. It's not actually doing anything. It's just a pointer to that data frame logic and the set of transformations that we might have on that data frame. Okay, so that's now created, so I can now then move on. So we've got a couple of different ways of working. We can do an inline SQL statement. So I can create a new Python data frame using Python, but referring a little bit of SQL in the middle. So I've said select star from people, and that's just creating a copy of that data frame. But I can just use SQL, I can inject SQL into my various statements. Or I can use this, I can use the SQL magic command. So that percentage SQL means this whole cell is now treated as SQL. And you can see it's highlighted some key phrases. It's now using a SQL IDE inside that cell. So I can execute it and I can just get a live feedback of what's going on. And that's a really nice way to just start to experiment with your data, to play around, to have a look at what's there. And you can obviously do some slightly more complex things. So like the joins we were looking at yesterday, I've got a straight inner join between my two data frames, and I can just do it straight in SQL. I can treat it like a SQL table. I can even turn and use it, play around with the notebook things, have a look at some visualizations. Now this is a really simple example of doing an aggregation, doing a join, but you've got most of the ANSI 2003 statements here. You can do a lot, you can do window functions, you can go kind of nuts in terms of what's there. So the SQL API is very powerful and a very good way of getting your business users to access Databricks and to use the power of that Spark engine without being too intimidated by the Python. You need to do a little bit up front to create that data frame, create the context for it, and then they can go nuts and write as much SQL as they want. Okay, so hope that was useful. Thanks for listening, and again, don't forget to like and subscribe so we can keep doing this, and we'll see you next time.